So I saw a tweet today reminding Ohio State fans of the school's record against the SEC all time. Is this the most, you'll be able to come up with a better term for it, I'll just flat out say embarrassing. Is this the weight, the biggest drawback on this program's all-time resume? Because otherwise, there could have been more national championships and so forth, but for a school that has arguably the greatest football program of all time, it is tough to excuse. Now, a couple disclaimers would be that, number one, we're talking about 12 bowl games in 45 years. So it's not like they're playing 3 games a year. They're cherry picked every 4 or 5 years. Also, Ohio State found, and we could both go through all these matchups and, make reasonable excuses. And if you lose, it is an excuse, but an explanation of there's a difference between Florida 2006 and
South Carolina
Georgia 2022. There's just a difference in performance level and showing that you are worthy of standing on the field. But Ohio State, especially early in that series of games against the SEC, showed up in a lot of those postseason games just because they were Ohio State. They got the elevation. Mm-hmm. They were playing much higher ranked teams. And again, it's not an excuse. You show up to the game. But on those particular seasons, should a 24th ranked Ohio State team be playing like a 6th ranked Auburn team in the Hall of Fame Bowl?
Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like the SEC thing has kind of taken a back seat. And I don't know if that's because of Urban Meyer and the win over Alabama and winning the national championship in 2014, or also the fact that Ohio State has lost to Michigan the last 2 years. So there's a bigger problem to worry about. And also, I think Clemson has been part of that because that was also a rivalry that came on real quick. And I don't know, maybe it feels to me like 2014 exercised some demons, but if you're going to go back and look, it was the part of the annual tradition. Like you lose to the SEC in the bowl game, and it was, this year it's going to be Georgia, or this year it's Tennessee, and you mentioned Auburn 2 years in a row, South Carolina. But I also think if you're judging something based on losses to South Carolina in an Outback Bowl, what are we really judging? And like those seasons, were they ruined by South Carolina? No, because 4 other losses kind of ruined it before then. So I don't know what you want to, like you said, not all losses are created equal, and not all wins are created equal. But for me, I think Ohio State has kind of moved past the SEC, not beyond like the psyche or the hurt. I think they've kind of moved past that. They've maybe learned to live with it, learn to make friends with it. It doesn't bother people as much anymore because you have the win over Alabama. And I don't see the loss to Georgia as being a loss to the SEC. I just see that as being a loss to Georgia. And maybe as we live in this world of identity politics, the Georgia thing is they've always felt, for me, they don't have to rely on the SEC to do their bidding, like to level themselves up like a Tennessee or a Kentucky or Arkansas or whatever. Georgia does its own thing, and they don't need to steal the valor of Alabama or their programs. So it's almost like losing to Georgia is just a loss to Georgia. It's not a loss to the SEC is kind of how I view it.